Hey everybody, how you doing? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. It's Wednesday. That's why I start every show, just saying what day of the week it is. Well, while we're waiting on folks to join, just remind you to go to coopedup.com, sign up for my email updates, and just to see what I'm posting there. Put some snow photos from last week up the other day. If you're on the other platforms, I'm Cooped Up is my screen name. Wherever you're watching or listening to this, look for the bell and click it so that you're notified anytime that I go live or post new content. And last but not least, my community text number. It's not a group text. This is like a service thing. It's 214-949-8599. Text me there and I'll keep you posted on just some behind the scenes stuff. I actually have been sending out some COVID updates to those of you in Texas. It tells me who's here, who's not elsewhere. Where you can find vaccines and just random stuff like that. It's not a lot. So anyway, hey mama, how you doing? So anyway, I hope y'all are doing well. We ate out last night. We went out to dinner. My sister's saying, what kind of service? Well, that text number is to a service called Community. It's the same one that like Oprah uses and J-Lo and stuff. They asked me if I would be interested. I guess they're testing out for nobodies also. And if you text that number, you can text with me. And if you actually text with me, you don't need to do that. But I can do a blast text and for heads up kind of stuff. Like, for example, I didn't do this today yet because by the time I got around to doing it, they'd all filled up. But I have like 3 friends who I referred to go to Corsicana to get COVID shots at the CVS in Corsicana, and they all got it. And that was of the list of people that I was worried about, and I was like, okay, it is my personal mission to get them COVID shots. Check, check, check. I am done with my list. I'll keep sending out hot tips, though, but I am a little bit less stressed. And Sandy signed up for shots on March the 3rd and the 24th. Yay! You must be eating the Pfizer if they're 3 weeks apart. And today's pop-up asked me to share this to the Texas Tech fan page. Pew, pew. That's crazy. Oh, so last night we went out to dinner for the first time in like a year, y'all. So it was the first time at a full-service restaurant in a year. The only other time we have eaten out has been at a restaurant in South Dakota where it was a counter service, and we sat at the farthest corner of the room because it was cold and wet outside and we couldn't sit outside. So it was really, really weird, y'all. So I was kind of nervous about it. Not nervous because I thought I was going to catch COVID first thing out, right? For those of you who haven't kept up, my full COVID vaccination Moderna shot was based on their timeline in full effect yesterday. Todd's was as well. So we decided to go out to dinner. We went to Gloria's, which is it's Salvadorian. Most people think it's Mexican food. It's actually Salvadorian food. It's a big chain here in Texas. Kids love it. It's easy. They put stuff on the table as soon as you sit down, all that kind of stuff. And so we wanted to do that. And so we went to Gloria's, and I was so fucking tired afterwards. I was literally in bed and asleep a few minutes after 9:00 last night. I was that tired from it. Exciting day. That's the quarantine. The cooped up problem is we're getting all things is not there anymore. So there were a couple of observations that I had. So first of all, like I said, we had not been in a restaurant in a year, and it's certainly not a full service restaurant. It was weird, y'all. Some of you, I may be telling y'all stuff that you're like, oh yeah, that's normal. That's how it is. I've gotten used to it, whatever. So first of all, we couldn't sit outside. The patio was full, which was fine. We were fully prepared to sit inside. We sat upstairs. The one by us is a 2-story restaurant. We sat upstairs, and the way they have the tables spaced, that the entire second floor maybe had 10 tables that were where they were seating people. The tables that they weren't seating people, they had a napkin or a tablecloth pulled on a diagonal across them that kind of blocked the table itself. Still had chairs at the table, but the table itself was not set or anything like that. So we go up there, and it's 2 sections that are rows of 3. So there's a row of tables, a middle section, and another one against the kind of partition thing. Well, all of the center ones were blocked because you couldn't sit next to somebody. And then every other one was blocked along the wall. So literally like 10 tables, maybe 12 tables. I hate empty restaurants, and I know we should have known this going into it. Just the vibe is just so like. Also, wait staff, and this is not me ranting or anything. I'm just sharing my observations. When a restaurant is not busy, service sucks. And I remember that from when I worked at a restaurant called Peppers Burgers and Shakes in McAllen, Texas on 10th Street, I think, just north of Nolana. It's probably not there anymore. And I was a busser in high school there. And the nights that it was not busy was like the worst night to go there because service sucked. Everyone was either they were either talking to the other coworkers and not paying attention to the customers, or you were finding other projects to do. Like the boss is like, hey, go back there and scrub the Coke station or whatever, right? Coca-Cola. I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, so you kind of have to clarify if it's Coke or Coca-Cola. But, and so you're not really paying attention. So that was like last night. The waiter, here's the other thing. We could not figure out who our fucking waiter was because they were all in the same outfit, wearing the same mask. And so it was like, hey, no, you're not our waiter. Okay. Oh, you're not a waiter. Okay. So finally the waiter would come by and all that stuff. And then, this isn't me sounding like going uphill both ways in the snow kind of situation. They use a QR code now for these menus, which I'm sure that this has been happening since like April or March. But again, first time at a restaurant since probably February, late February, maybe early March of 2020. They use a QR code, and you get your phone out and you use the camera and it pulls it up. Here's the issue. I've been going to Gloria's for almost my entire adult life. They've been in Dallas forever. They decided, hey, now that we're doing this QR code thing, let's change the menu also. So things like I usually get the carne de res asada Salvatex, which is a carne asada with an enchilada and refried beans and rice. That's what it is. They've changed it to plato Salvatex with steak. And I was like, I'll have and I couldn't find it on the thing. And I felt like I was short-circuiting. Anyway. And then I forgot how expensive eating out is. Again, this sounds like me. Oh, I'm such an old man. So wine is $9 a glass, which is normal for a Dallas restaurant, which is normal for a lot of restaurants. But I'm like, for the last year, I've been drinking like a bottle and a half that costs $9. So all told, we got out of there for a random Tuesday night dinner, $115. That's why we have so much more money right now. I've been like, why does my account have so much cash in it? It's because I'm not $300 in myself a week. And that's not even counting lunches. Because, I used to eat out for lunch every day. So count that at $10. So that's $50 a week. So that's $200 a month at least, right? Plus, if we eat at a restaurant at $100 to $115, $125. So let's round that up to $250 a week. That's $1,000 a month right there. My God, that's a car payment. Which, by the way, I paid my car off this month. I have no more. My car hit 4 years old, and I have no more car payments left. Yes, first time in my whole fucking life I have owned a car where I've not had a payment. I know some of y'all. My sister enjoys that very much, but I have never experienced that in my life, and I have no intention of buying a new one at this moment because I love Gwen for short. Going out is expensive, easy $100 each time. I know, and for what? So I'm not really sick of cooking at home. I think my family is sick of eating my cooking at home. I think that's the bigger deal. We've been ooching into more order in. There's only so much spaghetti and tacos and tostadas and stuff like that you can eat. I always default to either Italian or Mexican, and it's almost always something that has either ground turkey or ground beef in it. A lot of chili, a lot of red sauces. Todd at one point was like, can we please not have something with ground meat and red sauce in it? It's like, oh, okay. So, anyway, I'm growing up, paying off my car. I know. Congratulations. By the way, I don't know if Aaron is watching. Aaron Kyle, who's normally on every day. Big congratulations to him today. I saw on his Facebook that he hit 8 years as a realtor or broker. I don't know if he's a broker or a realtor, but in the real estate industry, 8 years. And he tells his great stories, life-changing. Hey, Aaron, congratulations. Very proud of you, man. 8 years. He tells a story about how he was like poor, cleaning toilets or something beforehand. And then he made this life change to become a realtor. And it has like changed his life. He can support himself now. All these great things, helping people with home ownership. So yay for you. 8 years, man. And it goes by fast, doesn't it? Right? So I started, most don't make it after 2 years. I mean, realty is hard. So like, I think that like something like 95% of real estate is sold by like 5% of the agents is what I've always heard. And the hardest part is that you're constantly, you have to invest in yourself because you don't get paid till the end. Sometimes you don't get paid at all because they change brokers or agents and you've still lost it, right? But it goes by so fast. I mean, I have my agency. I started my PR firm in 2002. So we are going on we have 19 years under us at this point. And I'm like, where did that go? And how have I run anything for 19 years? Like, the fat fills the wrinkles. That's what it is. Crystal is vowing to not eat out as much post-COVID. Bad service and too expensive. I've ordered takeout for pickup right after cooped up. Who needs to sit down in a restaurant again? Well, that's the other thing is until we are back to normal, like the experience wasn't great. Like I am not aching to go back to a restaurant. We are going to go this weekend. Todd and my anniversary is Sunday. And so we're going to go out to dinner, the two of us, on Saturday night to Saloom, our favorite restaurant here in town. And it'll be interesting. Here's the thing. Saloom, I love the food, but I really like the atmosphere of that restaurant. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that is impacted by only being able to be at a certain percentage of people and space apart. They tend to have an older crowd at Saloom as well. So it'll be interesting to see that. And Gloria is also at the front table. At the front, they had a huge table of all of the pickup orders. So I think there's a lot of pivoting happen. I cook takeout regularly. James is saying yes. Uber Eats has got all my money. And Monica saw that restaurants are starting to prepare food to cook at home. I have my chef friend Blythe Beck has totally transitioned to where she is doing mostly cooking stuff. I think she has some food she shut her restaurant down and she's doing mostly kind of food events and stuff now, but like virtual events. And she seems to be doing fine. I don't know financially what the trade-off is, but there is that, right? By the way, I'm wearing short sleeve shirt and shorts today. It was 81 degrees. And I think last week it was 18 degrees. It's just blowing my mind. We were talking talked a moment ago about pivoting and adjusting. So I'll hear that Fry's, the electronics store, closed. They're only in big cities. I think there's only 31 locations across the country. Dallas, there's like a few. I think there's maybe 5 in the DFW Metroplex. Houston area has them. I don't know about Austin and San Antonio. They're like these mega electronic stores. And what they're really well known for, or were really well known for, because they've announced they're closing. They actually have announced that they have closed. Like not even going out of business. They are really, really good at having like really random things. Like if you are like a computer geek, they had a whole section of just parts to computers, like conduits and stuff like that. But then they also had washers and dryers and TVs and computers and blenders and DVDs and vacuums and all that kind of stuff. Well, they were huge stores. They were themed. The one here in Dallas was themed after like a Western cattle drive. I think the one in Houston was NASA themed. They have an Alice in Wonderland one, all that kind of stuff. Customer service sucked ass there. Like it was the worst. No one ever helped you. And so you had to know what you were looking for. But they had They had almost no web presence whatsoever, and they just didn't transition. And we've talked about this before. Businesses, businesses are. I'll post that comment in a minute, Aaron. Businesses who, if you own a business, and especially if it's only 31 locations or one location even, and you're in the retail space, you cannot compete on selling the exact same thing as everybody else. You cannot compete on price even. It has to be service, specialties. Like Fry's could have shrunken their stores down to like 10% of the size and become like the Micro Center where they still have all of the very niche kind of things, and they could have made it. But they were still trying to sell blenders and suitcases and televisions and all that stuff against Amazon. And people are not, and they weren't selling online or barely selling online. They were doing computer repair and stuff, which I think is great for them. But, you know, you can't compete on, I mean, it has to be service, and they had no service whatsoever. So anyway, outlived its time, kind of passing of a I don't know, like a milestone or watershed moment, but you know, some things outlive their time. And Aaron is saying that we threw him into an ugly cry. My kids are wondering what's wrong. Poppy's so proud of himself. You should be proud. 8 years of like owning your life and in business. You should. Did I say shrunken? Sorry. My country comes out occasionally. So you know who is having the best year ever, though? Traffic cone manufacturers. The people who make traffic cones are having the best year ever. We were watching, I think it might have been like CBS Sunday Morning again this weekend, and they were talking about a COVID thing. And Todd and it was talking about one of the mega drive-thrus in Los Angeles, and it was like, we're like, shit, that is a lot of traffic cones. And then you got Dallas, you got Fair Park, you got Ellis Field, you got Eastfield, you got Texas Motor Speedway, you got all these other drive-through things. Like, where were the cones? Like, did they make them? Like, have these always existed? Were they rented? Like, I don't know where they came from, but whoever owns these cones or made them is making a shit ton of money right now. Good for them. Who would have thought you could be like a traffic cone magnate, right? So Michelle, you're being sassy. My mom says she got mailed for the first time yesterday. I assume she means mail, and Michelle's being, where did they mail you to? Amy wants to know when Texas spring break is, wanting to come to Dallas, but not during your spring break. So it depends on where you go to school. Our school, actually, because we are a year-round school, we have 2 weeks of spring break. So ours starts on the 10th, I think, whatever that Saturday is, the second Saturday. And we have 2 full weeks of spring break. Most schools don't. Most schools have it that first week, 12th, 10th, 12th, whatever that is. That's a big spring break week. But then some have it a little bit later. Next week, I would not anticipate anyone is having spring break. Possibly the week after that. Yeah. So Amy, keep that in mind. Basically, next week will be fine, and probably the last week of March will be fine. The 2 middle weeks is usually when it is kind of crazy. March, DISD, that's Dallas schools, is the 14th to the 20th, which is the same as our first week of spring break that we have. And then we are going to Grand Isle. You need to look it up, Grand Isle, Louisiana. It is a tiny little island out in the delta in the Gulf of Mexico of Louisiana, fishing and hanging out and having fun. I bought a mosquito tent that we can sit in case the mosquitoes are bad. And Luke, who, by the way, celebrated a wedding anniversary yesterday. Congrats to you on that. All the congratulations today. They were at the Hearst Convention Center, and there were cones everywhere. I mean, literally, if you think about every town and the amount of cones that they are having to guide people, it's just, what are we going to do with all these cones when we're over? Hopefully we burn them in a bonfire. Hopefully we never have to use them again. We have, is that women? I don't know what WBE stands for, are making a killing on subs on projects. Not making them, just supplying them on sewer jobs. Yes. And And interesting thing I heard the other day, with the online class system in place, snow days may be a thing of the past, Luke is saying. Yes. Well, the issue, I think more schools would have probably gone to snow days if we didn't have the power outages. Like, our issue for our school is that our neighborhood was pretty much back online by like Wednesday, or I mean by Thursday and Friday. But a lot of our teachers who don't live in our community, because that's the downside of teaching like at a private school in a well-off community, is that the teachers can't usually like afford to live directly around us. So out where they were, they didn't have power, they didn't have internet, so they couldn't communicate in. So there is that. And Monica, who is with a small school district in Caldwell, Texas, that's where her son goes. And she teaches, or not teaches, works as in the administration office at a different school district, or the same as that week of DISD. Well, of course, I know that you're the same because I'm going on spring break with you. And Dave's going to NOLA November. I'm assuming you mean March 13th through the 15th, and then Perrito Key, Florida for the remainder. That should be fun. Did you find a place to snorkel? I know that you wanted to do that. I never knew that people could snorkel in the Gulf of Mexico like that on that part, but because I've never seen it. But maybe you can. Still crying, Aaron? How you doing? I know you're like me. Oh, and Michelle wants me to make that chicken salad. I ordered the ingredients for it. I just have not made it yet. So thank you. I will get back to you on it. It's like what was it? What's in it? Turmeric, I think. Is that what's in? No, tarragon. It's a tarragon, not turmeric. That would be horrible. Tarragon chicken salad. It sounds great. You know who else is having the best week ever? This is kind of a morbid twist on a story, but from a PR perspective, that car brand Genesis, the SUV brand that Tiger Woods was driving yesterday, thank goodness he survived. Never would wish ill on anyone like that. They had to put a rod in his leg because, oh my God, there is a story that I read today. Where did I read it? CNN, I think, that talks about his actual injuries. His leg broke in two places and the bone punctured through the skin in one of them. And he was trapped in this car, couldn't get out because it was on his driver's side door and his legs were shattered. And sorry to go shell out, but and the airbags had gone off. But the other article that I read this morning in the Wall Street Journal said that that car saved his life. Like, literally, Genesis can now be like the car that saved Tiger Woods' life. That it was so banged up and bruised and stuff, but because he was wearing a seatbelt and it has like 11 airbags and all that kind of stuff, he was saved. And he was actually, it said sitting comfortably. I don't know how comfortable you are with your femur poking out of your skin, but that's a whole other thing. But it said that he was sitting comfortably in the car waiting for them to get there. But Genesis, that brand, I never even heard of it. I thought he was driving a Hyundai or something. And then I thought Hyundai Genesis SUV, but then I looked it up and it's Genesis, which I don't know that I've ever even actually heard of that car brand before. But yeah. Tiger Woods, y'all. But glad that he is doing better. Did I say it wrong? Tiger Woods? I don't know. Whatever I said. Michelle's always there to make sure that I am on the straight and narrow. I don't know what I said wrong. Aaron is saying that his kids bonked heads and now they're all crying for different reasons. You just pretend that you're crying about them and they won't know different. So what else? I started doing my taxes today. We do our own taxes. We're both pretty smart at that. And TurboTax is actually even with my business, which gets a ton of 1099s, which, by the way, if you are self-employed or own a business, there is a new kind of form this year that you get. No, normally you get a 1099 MIS, M-I-S-C, like miscellaneous. This year, there's also a different form. Most of my clients sent me this new one. I still have a couple that sent me the old one, 1099 NEC, which is non-employee compensation. Don't know why there's a new form, but almost all of mine are this new form. And you have to make sure when you're entering it that you enter it just right, like you pick the type of form it is. But TurboTax makes it so easy. I used to have I have a bookkeeper, a service that does all my books for me. And then they just give me this printout. And literally, it's like a 2-page printout. And it's like utilities expense, supplies expense, entertainment. I mean, they break it out for me already in categories. My old CPA, when we were using that for our taxes, he would always want that file. So I'd give it to him. And then for some reason, I figured out that he was using QuickBooks because QuickBooks makes a version for like accountants. And I don't know, I got some copy of something and I'm like, what? I'm paying you like $1,200 to do my taxes and you're just doing it in QuickBooks? And I have to give you these clean files? I was like, no. And so we looked into it and it's like $200. And they just literally, they're like, you own a business, answer these 5 questions. Okay. And I've even been audited and it was totally fine. It worked out well. So started that today. So we'll see how that goes. Last couple of years, I'm not gonna lie, the Trump tax cuts were very good to families like mine. I think especially because I have a pass-through LLC business, and those are treated particularly favorably by the last year and the year before that. I actually got a tax return, and I have not gotten one in like 17 years before that. So we'll see. This year I'm breaking kind of even because I actually underpaid my estimated taxes, knowing that my taxes due, because there's nothing that Biden can do yet, or the Democrats, to change the 2020 tax thing. So Jody got his refund today. Woo woo. My goal is to have a 0 or owe a little bit. Like, I don't actually ever want a refund because that means I've given too much money to them. I would rather just have a 0 or maybe even owe enough to not incur a penalty. I said Tiger Woods's. Well, is that not how you say a plural of something? Tiger Woods's car. Again, I said until George W. got knocked on the head about it, I said nuclear. I said this is a Texas thing. I said nuclear instead of nuclear. So I'm not going to pretend. So let's see. Sandy's breaking even. I use TurboTax, but they want to charge me as much as I'm getting back almost. So going to check out the IRS online option. Can't do that for me because I got Schedule C's and I actually have like 3 businesses that I run taxes for. So can't do that. And then, Luke is saying it is Hyundai. It's just they have done a break-off branch. So is it like Audi to Volkswagen or Porsche to... No, Audi to... Who's Audi to? Well, whatever. You know what I mean. Where they have their upper line and their lower line. And Monica's saying we love to gamble. Oh, Crystal's going to Vegas with your cousin. That is on my list. The kids have actually been begging to go to Las Vegas. And I'm not going to lie. They've been before. They were just 3 months old and 6 months old. They don't remember it. Hope they don't remember it. But it's fun. We love to gamble. It's fun. I love it. Todd is the worst gambler ever. Infiniti is to Nissan, like those types of things. That's what Luke is telling me. Todd is the worst gambler ever. He can walk in and be like, I never win. And then he literally never wins. It's the secret. I can walk in with $400 and we pay for everything on the trip and I'll walk out with $395. Like it is, I always do. I don't do well. Like I'm not making thousands of dollars, but I always do enough to like pay for dinner at night to kind of sustain and come back with about the same amount of money. And I actually don't like playing tables. They stress me out. 3-card poker I can play, but the rest they stress me out. I love a good Monopoly slot machine. I love a good Ellen slot machine. Wheel of Fortune can rock my world. I can play roulette because I always play the exact same numbers every time, and statistically they're not supposed to be favored, but realistically they're going to keep coming around. And Todd did though. We were where were we? Down on Fremont Street. That's right. We were with Monica and her husband, Mike. And he put literally 5 cents in a slot machine and it turned into $80. A Willy Wonka game is what it was. Yes. I love anything that has a bonus level that just continues to play. Like Monopoly is the best at it. You play and then it turns into a screen up here and a screen up here and a screen up here. Next thing you know, you've spent $1 and you've gotten 5 minutes of entertainment and you've won $25. I love it. Yeah, and it was downtown on Fremont Street in the smallest casino ever. I mean, I think it was so small. Didn't they have to open the machine just to get $80 out for him or something, or figure out that he had actually won? It was, I mean, I would think it was like one strip. Like what? I don't even remember why. Why would we have even gone in there? We must have been drunk. That's the only explanation I have for that. Let's see. Make sure, because I hit 30 minutes. So let me make sure I didn't miss any comments. Yeah, I think that is it. All righty. Well, congratulations again to Aaron on your work anniversary and to Luke on his and Jeremy's wedding anniversary. Good stuff this week. Tomorrow is Carrie's birthday, y'all. Carrie's birthday is tomorrow. I'm having lunch with her. We're going to Basile, which is the restaurant at Nordstrom, which we both love so much. Fantastic restaurant, by the way. And then we're probably do a little tipsy shopping, masked up, but tipsy shopping. We'll see what happens with that. I've already arranged for Todd to pick up the kids from school, just in case I don't make it back in time. I don't know what we're going to do with this. She and I have been talking about coming live to y'all together at the same time. I don't know what that's going to look like. Certainly don't know what it's going to sound like or how sloppy it will be, but we will try our best. So we'll see. Michelle's like, kiss her on her mouth for her birthday. Yes, I know. I don't even do that with my husband. Bless his heart. So, alrighty. Well, with that, I'm going to say bye. Jody's like, so you'll be drunk for your show tomorrow. Yes, most likely. Alrighty. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I love that you watched this. This is my therapy. I got kids at the door waiting for me to come out now. They hear the cues going down. So I will try my best to see y'all at 4:30 for another episode tomorrow with Carrie for another episode of Cooped Up Live, should I say. Talk to y'all later. Love y'all. Bye.